Hello, it's Mark Watson here. These days, an alarming number of people get all their information by using chatgpt or other AIs. They, of course, are very clever, much cleverer than the average human, but it feels like an alarming trend, and I'm going to try and redress that by essentially serving as a sort of chatgpt facility in this new feature. The feature is named after something I once said to my children when they were grilling me, which was, yes, how can I help? And when you see the name of the feature, you should hear it in that sort of slightly put upon voice. So welcome to the first, yes, how can I help? With Mark Watson. I asked people on Twitter to ask me, well, I said anything, but ideally not comedy related, not related to my career. This is not about that. Far be it from me to try and make content for the purposes of getting attention. This is merely a free, informative service. The questions are very wide-ranging, and I will do my best to answer as many of them as I can in exactly 10 minutes. Exactly 10 minutes. I will not be naming the questions, by the way, because it will just take too long, and I've already wasted 5 seconds. Here we go. When we delete things, where do they go? They are all in a massive place in Manchester, like the size of a cathedral, and there's just absolutely millions of emails and things and messages that people thought better of. I recently found that a 100-gram jar of Coleman's mustard fits perfectly on top of a 170-gram jar of Coleman's mustard, and they've supplied a photo of that. My question is, do Coleman's make a smaller jar that fits perfectly on top of the 100 grams? Yes, they do, a 70-gram jar. Then there's a 30-gram jar which goes on top of that, a 10-gram jar, and there's actually more than 1,000 different sizes of Coleman's mustard, all the way to 0.00001 gram, which is only elves can eat that mustard. What is the cute animal you'd most fear being left in the company of you'd most fear being left in the company of an uncomfortable amount of? Quite a convoluted question. Well, I think baby elephants are cute. In fact, I think all elephants are cute, really. But if I was left with, say, even 20 baby elephants, I'd certainly feel uneasy. I'm not trained to deal with elephants, and I don't fully understand their psychology. If two mind readers are reading each other's minds, whose mind are they reading? It's a bit like if you have two mobile phones and you hold them up to each other. If two mind readers read each other's minds, all they can hear is and it's fatal. It's why you don't see Darren Brown anymore. He tried to read the mind of another mind reader and died. It's difficult to phrase as a question. Darren Brown isn't dead. I saw him in Clifton in Bristol a couple of weeks ago. I wasn't spying on him, I just know him a bit. It's difficult to phrase as a question, but I wonder why my consciousness inhabits me and not anyone else. I also wonder how plants perceive the world. Yep, that is difficult. What is the best thing about being born on February the 13th, which is also my birthday, says this person, Sonia. So I have a vested interest in the answer. Well, one of the best things is it's just before Valentine's Day, but doesn't fall on a major event. You don't want a birthday which overlaps with a major event. Also, being born the 13th is cool because 13 is traditionally seen as an unlucky number, but you grow up without that fear. Instead, 13 is sort of special. Also, February is not a bad time to have a birthday generally because it's quite a grim month for a lot of people. Not for us. How quickly should you pay someone who has lent you 20 quid back? You should give it immediately back to them. And then if they say, no, it's all right, you can have it, take it, but then again, find a way of getting it back to them, like shove it in their pocket or jam it in their pillowcase when they're asleep and carry that on for years. How many Stoats are there and where? There's just 10 Stoats, that's why you never see them. And they live in some sort of a bedsit.
I thought it was on Trent.
Sorry?
Oh,
you just thought it was Stoat. Thank you, Alex. Why when I wake up is my duvet often rotated by 90 degrees? It's actually more dramatic than that. Every time you wake up, the person who asked this question, you're in a different bed. You will notice it next time. Look at the features of the walls and stuff like that. If you had to choose the manner of your own demise, what would you pick? Shot in the face by the Prime Minister, because I'd be on the news a lot then, and history would remember me. Which fruit or vegetable has the weirdest name in French? I think it's the French for pineapple is ananas, which is almost the exact same as our word bananas, which is nuts. It's bananas. There's no. It's like if our word for anyway. Would Dolly Parton survive the apocalypse? No. Dolly Parton is already in her 70s, and I think the apocalypse would be quite hard on older people even. Also, if it really is an apocalypse, almost nobody will survive, I suppose. But Dolly's legacy is already secure. Or would you rather A, be locked in an otherwise empty room, 6 foot by 4 foot, for 24 hours with Keir Starmer, or B, walk around a busy supermarket for an hour completely naked, holding a cucumber in each hand while singing Tiffany's hit, I Think We're Alone Now, repeatedly? Well, I know the song for a start.
Do you know the whole song? Or do you know the chorus?
That's what they say when we're together. But what would they say? Yeah, I know enough of it. If they ever knew, because we're... But there you go. That bloke looked at me and I was only singing it once. I'm not even naked holding cucumbers. So that suggests I should go for the confinement with Keir Starmer, who I'm not an enormous fan of, but I have no particular... I think he's a fairly neutral sort of character. Having said that, it does sound quite claustrophobic, that. And the supermarket thing would be quite liberating. And I reckon people would look at me and say, well, this is just for a bit, isn't it? No, I'll go for the naked with cucumber, because I quite enjoyed singing there. How long have we got, Alice?
We're at 5 minutes.
If the correct name for red sauce is ketchup, what is the correct name for brown sauce? Fletcher. Not everyone knows that. How are the name shapes? I do it. Triangle, very pleased with. Lumph, though, didn't work out. So you can't even picture what shape that is because it just didn't catch on. Does a butterfly remember its time as a caterpillar? Yeah. And obviously it thinks, God, I looked awful in those days, the way sometimes you do when you're looking on Facebook. But on the other hand, sometimes it misses some of the stuff it used to get up to as a caterpillar. As a butterfly, you're surprisingly vulnerable as well. You're sort of fluttering about. A surprising number of butterflies don't think they're better off as caterpillars, or vice versa. Sorry, a surprising number of butterflies believe they were better off as caterpillars, and there's a lesson for us all there. Why is George Pig the only animal in the Peppa Pig universe without an alliterative name? It's because he was originally a guinea pig, George Guinea Pig, but he's not exactly trans, but whatever that is for animals. We have overwhelmed and underwhelmed. What exactly happened to whelm? It is impossible to be but exactly whelmed. You are always either overwhelmed or underwhelmed. It's a bit like how it's nearly always above 0 or below 0 temperature, except sometimes it is 0, but you can't have that with whelmed. That's my point. I told a 12-year-old that if and when he starts drinking, he should assume his limit is 3, because nothing good ever happens after the 3rd drink. Was this good advice, or I just condemned him to a life of holding other people's hair back? It was good advice, but if you put any sort of restrictions like that on a kid, they're sort of more likely to... When he gets to the first time he gets to the 3rd drink, he'll think, hello, and then he'll go for it. Also, the same person, where is my charger? The 12-year-old has nicked it. What's the one thing you look at and think, wow, the world is pretty amazing, and we're very lucky to be here to experience the moment? Well, the sunset is often good for that, isn't it? But sometimes I think that about the internet. Of course, there are many evils of the internet, but the sheer, quite a lot of bikes these days. The connectivity of the entire planet, for all its problems, is a miracle which I personally feel very fortunate to. Also, we're really good at building big things. Look at that, the Shard, absolutely enormous. That. We've always been good at building big stuff, but these days we're very good at building tall stuff. I'm quite pleased to be living in that age as well. Yeah, and also stuff like nice bread. Not that nice bread is new, but that wasn't actually the question. It was just what in general makes you feel we're lucky. How quickly do you think you could build a branch of Frankie and Benny's? Rules: you are given materials. You can work full time on it, but no hiring helps. It's just me. You do need to build furniture, but you don't need to wire the gas and electric, and it's in a shopping centre. I think it would be very difficult, for loads of reasons. I don't have a lot of practical skills. I would have to study previous Frankie and Benny's, or like existing ones, and get a sense of what the template is, and research into the materials that they used. Well, I have been given the materials, but I don't know how to necessarily do it. And I have to do all of this on my own. There's quite a bit of carpentry, decorating. It's a huge job. I think it would take me no less than 5 years to build a branch of Frankie and Benny's that was serviceable and that I was happy with. What is the best way to get a 7-year-old boy more excited about moving to Japan? Well, I just sit him down and say, come on pal, it's Japan. This is wild. How are you not excited? I know he's 7, but like, just get in his face a bit. Just maybe
Quick Tokyo PowerPoint.
show him some photos of it. Yeah, because Tokyo is in particular, but all of Japan is so visually stunning. I know, again, it's difficult when you're 7. Also, talk about the weird food. Kids are interested in weird food. Like, tell them there's weird Kit Kats there, because there are. You probably know this. There's green tea and matcha. There's all sorts of flavours of Kit Kat in Tokyo. Did the inventors of cricket purposely choose a rhyming word when they named it a wicket? Yes. Originally, all sports were like this. In tennis, the net used to be called a bennis, for example. What's the largest animal you think you could duct tape to a tree on your own? Well, you sometimes see possums climbing trees in Australia. I reckon if I timed it exactly right, when it was like poised halfway up, I could very quickly roll
30 seconds.
the tape around it. But it wouldn't be easy, but it didn't say would it be easy. Is there any point to it all other than existing? Many people think not, but existence has to be a point in and of itself, and the way we make life meaningful, how long to go?
15 seconds.
The way we make life meaningful is by excavating meaning from our experiences. How we do that is up to us. This has been Yes, How Can I Help? With Mark Watson.
That's why magnesium reacts the way it does. Please like and subscribe. Having said I would have done the same.